My name is Moonpetrie, and like many of you, I have been seeing people leaving AuthorTube, people talking about CreatorTube, and I'm still an AuthorTuber. Now, there are a few reasons why I choose to still identify as an AuthorTuber. For one thing, I've only seen a few of these videos, but one thing that was pretty clear is that a lot of the folks who are choosing to consider themselves creator tubers now, they do more things, and I don't. I write. There have been times in my life when I had more time and energy for other creative endeavors. And I used to play music, and it has been a while. Right now, I at a point in my life when I really have to prioritize, and with the time that I have to put into things like creativity, I prioritize writing. So you will not be seeing song covers, sewing projects, or artwork from me. Not anytime soon. Probably not for a decade or two at this point. So in that way, I definitely consider myself a writer and not a creative person in general with many avenues of expressing that creativity. Secondly, something that came up for some of these folks was feeling like their YouTube channel was meant to be a business investment or a part of their professional persona. I know Marissa Mohi talked about this. I know that she does a lot of freelance work, and she talked about feeling called out, people suggesting that it's unethical, or criticizing people's business practices regarding their YouTube channels. And this is not a business endeavor for me. I am sorry to hear that people have felt called out, or that AuthorTube feels like a space where that is just sort of culturally acceptable. I have not had that happen, but I'm not using this as a business platform. I joined AuthorTube for two major reasons. One is the community, which for me has been nourishing and delightful. And two, because I have no other social media presence whatsoever. I chose YouTube. I chose YouTube because it works for consumers as well as for participants. And I had been a significant YouTube consumer for many years and felt comfortable with the platform. Whereas most other social media, if you aren't putting any information about yourself, if you won't make an account, you can't access any of it. And so I never accessed any of it. And considering the toxicity of Twitter for a lot of communities, I don't regret that. I wanted to have some presence online so that when I do get to querying, agents could potentially see who I was. So in that way, I just wasn't looking for it to be a business platform. I don't intend to self-publish. I'm not a freelance editor, and I am not one of those hustling people. When I hustle, it's because I have a lot to get done today. It's not financially motivated. No one ever pays me for anything. And third, this is where it becomes philosophical. this is where it's about how I engage with the world. And I'll start by saying I am a Hufflepuff. So by that one simple admission, you can tell I really care about loyalty and sticking things out. Because Hufflepuffs care about those things. And because I would still define myself in terms of Hogwarts houses. Because although she who must not be named has disappointed all of us tremendously in recent times, I do not feel that the cultural movement around Harry Potter is something that we need to give up on. So I don't like to give up on stuff. And I'm afraid that when dissenting voices leave communities, we just have more and more homogenous communities that are more and more resistant to change. As with so many things, personality traits, this is a two-sided coin. I'm really good at sticking with stuff. I'm really good at refusing to give up. That can really help with powering through a temporary challenge. It can also make it really hard for me to see and acknowledge when it is time to move on from something that is really not working. So I understand that for some people, this is really not working and they need to make a change, and I absolutely respect that. The thing that has come to mind for me is churches with beliefs that are toxic around certain marginalized groups. So I would never advocate that a person who feels abused by their church community for being LGBTQIA+ should suck it up and keep showing up at church with the hope of changing the system from the inside. If a person is truly being harmed by a community, they absolutely need to leave that community. I don't think this is a situation quite like that. I don't think that whatever toxicity we have here is anything like, say, the way that evangelical churches treat LGBTQIA+ individuals. But I have often thought that when people refuse to leave the church and also refuse to relinquish their belief that their queer family members and friends are worthy and loved by them, by God, that has great power and can create great change. So for me personally, and I am not advocating, and I am not making any suggestions about what anyone else should do or must do. For me personally, I would rather try to repair a community than depart that community. That said, for me, probably because my channel is so small and I have just been lucky, this has not felt to me like a toxic community. I have not been exposed to much drama. I have not felt called out about anything. I felt called in once with an important reminder, but I think that is what makes community good, when people feel that they can point things out in a way that helps us all grow. So yeah, maybe I've just been super lucky. Maybe some people have just been super unlucky. Anyone who needs to change what communities they're part of or create a community that works better for them has my absolute support. But I am just an AuthorTuber and nothing else. Obviously, mostly I am a parent, and when I can spare a few minutes, I am an AuthorTuber. Until next time, I am Moonpetrie, and if you have experienced toxicity or drama in AuthorTube that I seem totally oblivious to, please tell me about it in the comments. I care and I want to make this a better place. If you have stories about why you are here, why AuthorTube works for you, or why CreatorTube works better, also, please, let's have a conversation down below.